All righty, kiddos. Today is the day that we talk snot. Aren't you excited? All right, so snot's annotations are simply small notes out to the side. That is what snots stands for. And here is some feedback I've gotten from students over the years after using the snots method. They've said things like, when I just read it, I can't remember what I read, but now I do. Or the left right makes me realize I don't do enough on the right side. I kept reading, and then halfway through, I realized I forgot to annotate and had to go back. My notes have been all my opinion, and I haven't been looking for what the author is doing. It's easier to figure out my thesis and body paragraphs this way. And I like it because I can find evidence fast. Okay. So, this method of annotating our text is something that has developed over 15 years of teaching. And kids seem to enjoy it a little bit more because there is so much choice. All right. So, basically, this is what you do to snot a text. You use notes on both the left side of the text and the right side of the text. On the left, you're going to mark, note, or briefly summarize anything the author left for you to find. Okay. Can include, but is not limited to, arguments and claims. Okay. So the author is making this argument, they've left this argument for you to find. Any thematic ideas or messages that you feel like the author is trying to get across, any evidence they've used to persuade you using ethos, pathos, or logos, and then any literary devices, which we're going to cover over the next few weeks. Things such as setting, characterization, point of view, style, tone, irony, symbolism, conflict, things like that. On the right-hand side of the text, you mark, note, or briefly summarize anything you wonder while you read. So you might write, I wonder if I'm right when I think this. This is you connecting to the text in some way. You can find connections to history, to literature, to current events, to music, to film, any other subject you can think of. This might be opposing opinions. The author might have claimed on the left hand side that this is something, but on the right hand side, I might write, well, this is kind of what I'm thinking, though. This is different than what the author thought or seems to be expressing. You can ask questions on the right hand side. You can talk about the significance of a passage or a quote or a piece of the text, like what future effects might it have? What's going through your brain as you read that and how you think it might affect other people. Are you agreeing or disagreeing and why? Okay, so think of the left-hand side as essentially what you see written, what you can find and point out. And then the right-hand side is basically your thought process. What are you thinking, feeling, seeing, coming from your perspective as you go? Okay, so jot this down in your spiral notebook, these notes here for the left and the right. If you need to pause the video, you can, but put them in your spiral so that you have them to refer back to. Because as we begin reading our texts, we're going to see our papers look like this. Now, what you see in the first two pictures are a kid doing the snots for the left and the right for a text that they cannot write on. So a novel, one was a play. So you're going to see that they couldn't write in the text itself. So they just split their paper into left and right, and they kept their left-hand margin going with the things that they saw that the author was doing. And on the right-hand side, essentially their reaction to all of those things. But then in the last paper, you'll see that they simply just did it in the margins and in the spaces in between paragraphs. That is perfectly fine. I've had students who will do all of their left-hand notes in one color and all of their right-hand notes in another. I've had kids highlight and underline and circle like you see here. Pretty much this is giving you free choice to annotate this text however you want, as long as you're including the author's thoughts on the left-hand side and your thoughts on the right. Now, when we move into our discussion, which you guys at home will actually, it won't be a discussion for you, which I'm so sad about, because it's just too hard to figure that out remotely. But what would happen is essentially we would come into class and we would start in small groups and we would have a discussion about the text after we had annotated it. And we would start in the left-hand column over here with questions like, what were you surprised by? And what notes did you take? And, what did you think was going on or what was happening or will happen in the text? And then we would move more into discussion that was centered around the author and why the author chose to do certain things or why the author crafted that text the way that they did. What messages were they trying to get across? What quotes specifically did the author use to push that message? That kind of discussion. And you're going to see in your discussion document that I'm going to try my hardest to kind of get you to that same place through some questioning and a handout that I'm going to give you. But unfortunately, you don't get to participate in. It's really fun, and I'm really sorry that you don't get to participate in the full class discussion. All right. Once we have our discussion, well, and really as part of our discussion, we come up with thoughts, questions, and epiphanies. And if you're not sure what an epiphany is, I'm fixing to go over what that is. But we refer to these thoughts, questions, and epiphanies as TQEs. So if you hear me refer to a TQE or reference that in Schoology at any point, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, thoughts, questions, and epiphanies. So what is an epiphany? An epiphany is a moment of sudden revelation. It's that sudden and profound, like, aha moment where you would just finally understand something. A lot of times in cartoons, it's depicted as that light bulb moment. So, what we're looking for as you read the text, as you go through the discussion, as you fill out the handout that I'm going to give you, is essentially an aha moment. And that aha moment can be completely and utterly based in opinion. It does not have to be something the text actually claims. It's using the text to get to that aha moment. And I will speak with you again shortly in your writing piece about how we take that aha moment and we transform it into some type of writing text as well. So I hope you guys have a good day. If you have any questions about this, please let me know.